Hello everyone, Seraphin here, welcome back for more Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. When I last left you guys, I was muddling my way through these floating gardens here and running into random devils out of nowhere there. Always sounds like a fun time. I'm going to be honest, it's been a little while since I've actually gone ahead and done any recording, so I kind of got myself ahead, very far ahead I should say, toward the beginning of this month, and I kind of just haven't done it in a while, so apologies if I'm a little stale at the moment in terms of my skill set, but I promise we're going to get right back into it where we left off. No problems, no hiccups. And, oh jeez, with these dead warriors, I tell you what. So right now, the floating gardens, I think I touched on this a little bit when I last left you guys, in that you'll see that I'm way up on the top of the screen here now, instead of where I last was, which was down in the middle somewhere. And that's because those floating squares along the top there are all kind of connected to each other. However, it's like a Lost Woods from Legend of Zelda situation, in that when you go in one way, you don't always come back out the way you came. And I think I tried to show you that last time, but of course it was the one example of that not being the case. Alright, these guys are annoying. Get out of here. What was my bullet soul again? I throw swords at people. Get out of here. There we go. So, I'm taking quite a bit of a beating right now, and it's not really my intention to at the moment, but that's usually how it ends up happening. Here we have more bone pillars. Never did get the soul from these guys. I would love it if I could get one now. There's a nice little tiny chunk of cash here, as you may notice. Whoops, that's the wrong soul. Thought I had my flying armor still attached. This is the... I'm not sure which one that is. Which one is that? Oh, the witch. That's right. We'll put flying armor back on. Let's jump right back up here. For some reason, trying to double jump up here doesn't always work. I think it's some kind of weird little glitch that you go to double jump and it just doesn't register that that's what you're doing, so I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. That being said, we're just going to kind of move on up here. They make you just jump back and forth for however long, and I don't even think there's anything up here, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. Guess we'll find out. Nope, there is not a thing up here, just more of these bone pillars, it looks like. Wonderful. That's okay, we'll live. That being said, I'm sorry if I'm kind of out of it at the moment. It's been an interesting week. So here we have a different enemy that we've not encountered before. That is oh my goodness, that really hurt. That was a Mandragora. You'll notice that the skeleton was pulling the root out of the ground. The skeleton itself is not the Mandragora. If you kill the skeleton before he pulls the thing out of the ground, you won't get a chance at the soul. You have to actually hit the Mandragora root itself when it comes out, and before it screams and kills your butt, because once it chicks off the scream, then, well, you don't get the soul, because it just kind of kills itself. That being said, it is very difficult to farm. I am not a fan of it, and I don't recommend it. So, I also don't think it's actually even worth it. The particular soul that it drops isn't really all that good. And here we have Altair, I think is the name of this hawk eagle thing, and it's carrying fleamen with daggers, who are a big, colossal pain, to say the least. But I'm going to jump into this save room here real quick, because I'm very hurt, and I require some healing. The fleamen, by the way, are not actually fleamen. Well, I mean, they are, but they're not at the same time. You know what? Let's take care of this guy first. This is a kicker skeleton. He is wearing a cape, and he jumps up in the air and kicks downward really fast. He actually is the only enemy in the game, the only generic enemy in the game that drops a ability soul, one of like the greenish-gray colored ones. He's the only one that does. And that particular soul is the kicker skeleton soul. Now imagine that. And it lets you do what he does, in that while you're in the air after a double jump, you just kick. You hold A and down like you're going to crouch, and you'll kick straight downward. And it's actually pretty useful. I kind of like it. But like I said, I'm not going to sit here and farm souls. We'll be here all night, so... Oh, our old friend, the Disc Armor, is back. Love this guy. Now, you'll notice that this particular area of the castle, there's a pretty significant difficulty spike, in that I was kind of able to handle no problem taking damage from enemies in the previous areas, but This particular area, they jump up considerably in terms of damage output. You saw that that Mandragora did, what, 91 damage or something to me? And even just the generic rank and file guys do a hefty bit of damage. And here's our friend the Manticore come back as a regular enemy. He's kind of a pushover now, as you can see there. That is the only one that spawns in the game, and he's in a very... I mean, you can walk back and forth between these little stairs here, but it's a big pain to try to farm that particular soul. That's the only place you can get one. Here we have not a wooden golem, but a full-on golem. Not really sure what he's made of. Obviously not wood, but he's very hardy target. You see, I was only doing 15 damage to him per hit. Golems tend to be very difficult to kill. Imagine that. It's almost like they're mindless automatons made of some very durable material. I guess wood not altogether that sturdy. I mean, it can be, I guess. And here we have our friend, a werewolf. Now, these werewolves you might recognize, actually, if you are familiar with Rondo of Blood, or as it was translated, Dracula X, because this particular werewolf is actually a boss in that game. Not altogether a terribly difficult one, but as you can see, still got plenty of interesting powers and still hits like a truck sometimes. So, there's one cube area there that I did not get to visit yet, and I would like to. Alright, that's enough of you. I just need better offensive souls here, I think. Or I just need to be more careful and, you know, stop getting hit so much. I never claim to be good at this game. In fact, I'm passable maybe at best. So, apologies if watching me get myself kicked across town is not entertaining for you. But, you're just going to have to deal with it, because I'm not great at this game. There's going to come a point in the relatively near future where it's going to kind of tone down a little bit. Like I said, this difficulty spike from where I was in the inner quarters, jumping all the way up to here, the floating gardens, is a pretty drastic step. I don't know why that big jump in difficulty. The enemies are just a lot tougher all of a sudden, and you don't have any better equipment per se to compensate. That being said, I think we're going to be alleviating our equipment problem pretty soon. Not too much longer. I think we've got maybe one more area to go after this. Thankfully, there is no boss in these floating gardens. They're just kind of a little standalone thing. What's down here, I wonder? I think it's more werewolves. Yeah. Thankfully, they're just doing karate moves and not that fireball attack like that. What I really need to do is get back to that save room and heal up again. I think I can go back this way and still get there. Nope, I am... Where the heck am I? Oh, I know. This is actually the way I'm supposed to be going, believe it or not. So here we have the clock tower. This was my ultimate destination. This is where I was trying to get. So here I am. You'll see up on the top there, one of those cubes that I was in, where the save room was, and the kicker skeleton. There's a bottom part that I didn't get to explore. The reason for that is, I didn't show you, maybe I'll go back and do it later, but there is a barrier there preventing me from entering, so I can't actually go that way. And here we run into Graham again. He's glad that I'm unscathed. So he knows about Yoko. He's not denying it. Well. The power to rule. Oh, snap. Now you notice Graham gets a little flustered at that, visibly. So, Graham's actually kind of a jerk. He thinks he's supposed to be Dracula, and he's supposed to inherit Dracula's powers and whatnot. And he's not happy with the fact that it looks like we are the ones that are going to be doing that. And by we, I of course mean Soma. So, that's fun. Okay, so this is actually my least favorite area in the whole game, and there's a multitude of reasons for that. The biggest amongst them is, you see all the spikes all over the walls. I'm actually going to drink a potion because I don't want to risk getting instantly murdered by the spikes if and when I accidentally land on some of them. Okay, this is annoying. How do I... There we go. Also, the moving gears and everything like that is just a big colossal pain. And there we go. I already walked into the spikes. Here we have the Lightning Doll. The Lightning Doll is actually one of the best souls in the game. If I were going to try to farm one of them, I would try to farm that one. That being said, I still don't think I'm going to be spending time doing that. At least not yet. Maybe I will later, but right now I'm just kind of trying to progress through the story a little bit. So here we have the ever infamous, if you're familiar with Castlevania at all, the Medusa heads. They're in this one. They're in all of them, I'm pretty sure. They just kind of float around from side to side on the screen in a swivelly pattern, I guess is the best thing you could call it. And they just kind of get in your way and make your life really annoying. Thankfully, these are the blue and green ones. All they do is float around. They're just a nuisance. They get in your way and they hit you. That being said, there is another variant of them later on. They're more like yellowish green colored, and if those touch you, they will turn you to stone. And those are arguably even worse. So we are going to be trying to avoid them for as long as possible. And here we have Yoko again. Which way did he go, George? Well, I don't know. He was going to the throne, it looks like. Yeah, well, that makes sense. He thinks everything in this castle is his. The enemy of my enemy is my friend? Is that how it goes? His cunning mind, I see. Like it's like, hey, we're friends now, bye. Kind of odd if you ask me. And I think if I go back in here, it's another one of these disc armors. Didn't really have any reason for doing that, I just wanted to see what was in there. So here you see there is a crumbly floor here that will let us drop into the water. However, we cannot descend in the water or anything like that. So it's kind of a pointless measure there. Here we have the bomber armor, which is significantly more dangerous, I think, than the disc armor in that those bombs really hurt. They are not to be messed with. So we're climbing through the clock tower, fighting lightning dolls, and... Oh, here we go, my favorite. I love these stupid harpies. Oh, they're so annoying. They hover just out of your reach, and they shoot down... Oh, hey, I get this soul the first try. Well, shoots out razor-like feathers, alright. They hover just out of your reach, and then they throw razor-sharp feathers at you at all angles, and it's very difficult to avoid. And I'm not altogether fond of them as an enemy. And they're very prolific here in the clock tower, where the area is mostly vertical, and therefore makes them even harder to try to hit. The nice thing is I can attack these lightning dolls through the walls here. Like I said, I would not mind picking up a lightning doll soul because it's very useful. See, there's the triple feather attack thing. Oh, and here we go. We get a lightning doll. Sweet. I am perfectly okay with this. I'm just going to ignore that. I'm actually going to equip that right now because I love me some lightning doll soul. What am I doing for equipment here? I've got a ninja suit on right now. Is that the best piece of equipment I have? Arguably, the samurai armor is better, but only by a little bit, and it's not really worth it, so we're going to hang out of the ninja suit. And we got a Valkyrie that I avoided, or I missed killing the first chance I had, so now I'm going to... Oh, she only does 1 damage to me now? It's kind of amusing. Whereas these Medusa heads are doing 16. And of course, attacking these Medusa heads is a lot more difficult given the fact that I'm using a straight pointy weapon and not a swingy weapon like that katana that I had. Swingy weapon? Really? Did I just say that? Here we have a gremlin. Gremlins are these little flying annoying things that are... Everything's flying and annoying in this area of the castle. That's why I'm not a fan of this part. Everything is just purely here to annoy the crap out of you. I'm just going to ignore him for now. I'm not bothered with it. So there's the petrification Medusa head. You see the yellowish colored one with the blue hair instead of the blue-green ones you've seen floating around the whole way here. I'm just going to avoid as much trouble as I can until I get somewhere safe. Safer, I should say. There really is no safe part of this castle. I mean, It's in Dracula's castle, crying out loud. Oh, that's the wrong way. So, I'm gonna hang out here and kill off these lightning bells and get my head together. And jeez. That being said, until I do that, I will have to see you guys next time. So, thank you all very much for joining me up to this point. I really do appreciate it. We'll continue the rest of the incredibly annoying clock tower in the next episode. So until that time, I will see you then. Everyone have a great evening. This has been Seraphin.